You're listening to I Like That Story, a bonus series of podcasts called Peace in the Valley. My name is Jeff Gould. Well, I'm here again in my shop. Another dreary day expected. Got my wood stove going. It's already knocking some of the chill out of the air. As I've said before, I come to my shop because it's a place where I can be. Be still and know that I am God. I suppose I could take all of these podcasts and get right down to the bullet points, and each one could have been 45 seconds or so, and then that would be it. Like a commercial. But that's not what I want to talk about only. Because these times of silence bring you your own revelations. But they will not come in 30 seconds. They will come over a period of time. So the hope is that as you listen to these podcasts, you are finding your own place of silence. The time in your day, the place in your world where you also can be still. And in that stillness, figure out what you are supposed to know. I think today we'll talk about dealing with anxiety, worry, and conflict. Well, I think, and maybe you can hear it. You hear that sound in the background. It's, I'll walk a little closer. I've got an old Coca-Cola slide cooler. That's the sound of the compressor motor. You wouldn't hardly notice it unless you were focused on it, but it's there in the background. And I draw an analogy between that and fear and worry and anxiety. Those also are like little thrumming motors and fans in the background, little gears whirring, telling you to worry. Conflict boiling up. And how do you get rid of that noise? Well, it's interesting that a lot of times during the day you don't hear it. This is why some people really don't like to be alone. They really don't like to contemplate. I remember a guy who was really kind of a mess. And he talked about when he got up in the morning, the first thing he did was turn on music at full volume. He said, I just need that to go, 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 go. He was a fidgety sort, could never sit still, and could not be still. I think it's because he also had enough noise in his background that he just didn't want to deal with it. Kind of like, those aches and pains don't show up until you're lying in bed. Of course, they hurt all day long, but only in the stillness just before sleep did that twinge show up. Some people have tinnitus, that ringing in the ear. It doesn't bother them during the day because the world is noisy enough, but at night when it's quiet, then the ringing shows up, and that's bothersome. How do you get rid of that? Well, I don't know that you can completely get rid of it. But here are some things that can help. First, after a time in your place of quiet, I suggest reading a couple of verses out of a Bible. I suggest writing down 3 things that you are grateful for. Don't make them all the same thing. Every day try to think of 3 new things that you're grateful for. And once you are in that spot, then now start capturing those things that are causing you worry and anxiety. Capture them by writing them down. And, maybe money comes up, or maybe health, or maybe your kids, or maybe, catching a disease or giving a disease, whatever that looks like. Just write them all down. Maybe you have a diagnosis that's coming up. Maybe you have a job interview that you don't know how it went, or you have one coming up. Write all of those things down. And then once you think you've captured all of those things, look a little closer at them and ask why they are bothering you. It's interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine who is consoling a person with obsessive compulsive disorder. And this kid manifested this through hand washing. His mother was diagnosed with cancer when he was a kid, and this caused some anxiety for him, obviously, and for the family. And the dad said, listen, your mom's immune system is compromised. You got to wash your hands. So he did, every 5 minutes. And he's in his 20s now, and he cannot let go of that. Well, there is this coronavirus, and it's ramped up in the media, and he's in pain because his hands are cracked and bleeding, and he can't stop washing them. And my friend said, are you afraid? Yes. What are you afraid of? I don't know. And sometimes we just let it go. My friend suggests, and I agree, don't settle for that. Ask what it is that you are afraid of. He asked, are you afraid of getting sick? And then in this pause, the kid said with some surprise, no. No, I'm not afraid of getting sick. I'm afraid of getting others sick. And once he found that point of fear and anxiety, he was able to write it down on a piece of paper, tie it up, take a pen and just circle it, tie a rope around it. And now it was pinned down in place. And he was able to diminish its impact. So, are you afraid of losing a job? Why are you afraid of losing a job? Are you afraid of, is it the money, or is it the fact that people might judge you? You don't want to be, are you worried about not being accepted? Why? And when you drill down and you find the exact point of your fear, now we're getting somewhere. Now you can circle that, and now you can go, okay. And then you can say, God, see it right there. Help me with that. And then God does. Some of this stuff is external. But a lot of the fears and anxieties and turmoil comes from within as these two versions of yourself battle it out. I call this the old man and the new man. The old man is Adam, the way you were made as a little kid. That idea that I am the most important. The concept that if the world doesn't go exactly my way, something is wrong, it's unfair, and you're angry about that. And the old man he reacts through old man things. He goes back to an addiction, or he lashes out, or his anger, or he transmits his pain onto other people. These are common strategies that the old man does and will continue to do for the rest of your living days. It's kind of like life is a two-stage rocket. You're born as the old Adam, and the rest of your life, that darn thing, is always attached to you. But at the time of your death, that stage will release, and the new creation, that is what launches into eternal glory, finally leaving the old guy behind. And that'll be a great day. Since we are in the valley now, the concept that life is like a journey. Sometimes you're in the sunny peaks and the high roads, and the birds are singing and everything's going right. Those are great days. But they're also distracting days, in that you start to think life's always going to be like this. And then you go into a valley, and as I've said before, there are always valleys. And if you haven't had one, you will. And I'm assuming that's why you're listening to this podcast now, because you are also in a valley. And this valley is made for you and for your own good. In this time, you are allowed to examine yourself, to figure out why you feel the way you feel and why you do the way you do, and try some different strategies for when you get out of this valley. Well, my name is Jeff Gould. Until next time, God bless.